slightly. Easy. One more.
And up to the start now of the Prince Albert, the University of Bristol versus Oxford Brookes University B.
Attention! Go!
Yeah, student coxed fours, as I mentioned earlier. Incredibly competitive racing. Brookes on the right-hand side, University of Bristol. Their athletes 1 to 4 in their increasingly strong senior men's sweep squad. So this could be a really enticing contest, actually. Brookes, of course, a powerhouse on the student rowing scene, and Bristol up-and-coming insurgency is something we always like as a narrative here at Henley Royal Regatta. And at the moment, it is Bristol who have done most of the early running, or actually the crews as they come around. That always gets me so deceptive, but it looks like Bristol maybe have a canvas a couple of feet, no more than that. Brookes more than hanging in there at the moment.
Yeah, the crew's reasonably locked together there, but perhaps a couple of dirty strokes. We can see the bump on the water. You get a good read on that, I think, when you see the water running along the booms there. Tricky water, and it's just giving the University of Bristol the opportunity to push out on Oxford Brookes University B crew here. Moving up to probably 3/4 of a length here in this early stage. As we move to the live shots down the course. And in fact, it's a little hard to tell from this angle, but it looks like the University of Bristol has not been able to keep up that lead that they built early on there. And in fact, it is Oxford Brookes University B who looks to be moving through at this stage.
Yeah, frantic look over there from Robert Prosser in the stroke seat of the Bristol crew. I think he knows that despite the efforts of him and his boat, they have not managed to shake off the attentions of Oxford Brookes B. Now remember, this is their B boat in the Prince Albert. Their depth has been written about extensively. Brooks, they have an amazing program, and like you said, sir, I think you called it spot on. Brooks are just starting to move through here. The crew's locked in what is essentially a deadlock, but I think maybe Brooks have no more than 1/4 of a length. It's a fantastic race, actually.
Wow, what a race we have here in this student men's coxed for Brooks, now eking out to about half a length lead over the early race leaders, the University of Bristol. And the Bristol crew, Robert Davies, Harry Stroud, John Davies, Robert Prosser, Ewan Rees. The top boat for Uni, 3 from last year's semi-finalists, the British University champs, into 8.
Yeah, this is their strongest possible lineup here, Bristol. They had a really good Bucks Regatta. For those who aren't familiar with Bucks Regatta, it's essentially the university championships here in the United Kingdom. It happens at Nottingham, where conditions actually resemble what we have at Henley today, very windy and a bit turbulent. But Bristol had a really good regatta. They are a boat club that up and coming. They're not one of the traditional powerhouses, but trying to shake up the established order, but failing at the moment to do so. Brooks continuing to just row away here. Credit must go to Brooks. Cameron Moffat in the coxswain seat, Chandler Schukogel in the stroke, Evan Falstrup in 3, Fred Tyler in 2, and Per Storstedt Andreasen, testing my pronunciation, a few different things there in the bow seat. Actually, as we watch this one, Sarah, this race is by no means done and dusted. I think half a length to Brooks. They haven't moved any further away. The pain etched on their faces. The question now is, can Bristol respond?
This would be amazing. I mean, this race, we think it's going one way, and then next thing we're seeing it change again. So if Bristol could come back onto terms with Brooks and get themselves back into this race, that would be incredible, as the early race leaders look like Brooks had the momentum, were taking this race, but they are not having it all their way. Locked here together with the University of Bristol, who are here putting it all out on the line to move through this round. What will happen as we come down into the last few hundred metres here in front of the stewards' enclosures?
You can hear from the noise. That's how you know that this is going to be a barnstorm of a finish. The crews, I don't think there's anything to choose between them. In fact, if you look at Bristol, right-hand side, white boat, I would even say that they've started to move back. This is going to be a fantastic finish.
The crews are barrelling down the course towards us right now. We can hear the roar of the crowd. This is an absolute humdinger all the way down the track. Oxford Brookes, they're tiring, but they do have 3/4 of a length that looks over Bristol. Can Bristol get themselves back into it? Both crews coming down to the line stroke for stroke. Brookes absolutely throwing everything into it to maintain their lead. And it will be Brookes.
Brilliant race, that really was. I mean, Brookes were out at the beginning, didn't have the momentum, and then just rode through and managed to stave off any challenges from Bristol. Phenomenal racing in the